All right, Charlie, we are live. Episode 2 of the Fully Corked
fully
Podcast.
the fully porked. We're now sponsored by Famous Dave's. Let's fucking
It's been a
go.
long day. It's been a real
Yeah,
long day.
dude. I agree. I agree. Been a long week. But couldn't be more happy to be here. It's and we're venturing into a world that I think I don't have more experience than John, but it's certainly I think a white wine is something, is the first wine I ever had, drinking Chardonnay with my mom on our back patio. So I'm excited to get into the white. It's a Friday. And so the time is right to dig into the white and talk about whatever comes to mind here. So I'm excited.
Oh, me too. And when I was reading the little description on this in Trader Joe's, it said perfect for drinking during the day.
I actually love this too because we get to just uncork it. There's no pressure for me to like actually do this the right
Yeah,
way, unless
the
there is a right
twist
way.
cap. No, it's the
Yeah.
twist cap.
All
You
right.
cannot possibly mess it up.
You intro, I'll start ripping it open.
Today we are drinking Espiral. This is our second wine from the Trader Joe's collection. Charlie, how about you go ahead and pour it up and then we will give our thoughts?
Yep, and I know I'm noting here on the back of the bottle it says pairs well with fish dishes and salads, of which I've prepared neither. I really haven't eaten much at all today. But yeah, yeah, I've had a couple cuties like the I don't know like clementine. Is that a clementine? Had a couple
It's
of
called
those.
what'd you call it?
A cutie is like the brand, like a bag of
Oh,
cuties. I think. I don't know. I mean, I don't know my fruits that well. But that and some
says the
granola.
wine expert.
Yeah. I only know grapes, but also not very well. All right, we're
Oh,
pouring.
you know grapes, Charlie. All right. Well, hey, I just poured mine. Charlie's in the process of pouring his. There's no chance this wine is corked, given that it is a twist off. So we will, I guess, live to see another day. I am looking forward to our first corked wine on the Fully Corked podcast. That will be a milestone.
Yeah, and note here for those of you who are looking at a video feed, this is a tall pour. This is a Friday. we got we got things going on later. Little birthday party action. Not my birthday, but actually going bowling after this. So I'll either roll a 0 or a 300 if I drink this whole bottle.
And
So
it looks like the glass you're using is a party glass. What is that? A champagne flute?
yeah, yeah, it is. And I'm pouring it like it's champagne. Um, all the way to the tippy top. All right, you ready? Sip
Yeah,
time.
let's go, Charlie. Cheers.
Ooh, tell you one thing. I like it. Hits close to home. It reminds me of my starting wine. As I said before, I'm looking at the wine chart here. If you've got an initial smart take here, please venture it. I'm still processing.
Yeah. I'm getting hints of apple, hints of melon. And I'm not just saying that because I read it on the Trader Joe's wine list.
Hmm. Is this dry? I
Oh,
think it's dry.
this is dry. Yes.
Yeah. There we go. Um,
Definitely. So this is why I like this wine. It's for all of our viewers and listeners. It's $5 at Trader Joe's and it
mhm.
is just so easy. It's not going to blow you away with its taste or anything, but it's dry. It's not too sweet. I hate sweet wines. This one hangs around, and for $5, you really can't beat it.
Good bang for buck. It doesn't taste like. I mean, I'm sure you drink the whole bottle. It's kind of a big bottle. You're gonna be hungover, but like, when you're drinking wine that's super shitty, and you're like, this every sip is a mistake, and I'm assassinating my day tomorrow, and this is terrible.
Yes.
It's not really giving that vibe, and at this price level, that's usually like what you're getting and how you're feeling. Like every sip is another fuck you to yourself the next day, and that's not how I feel right now. Maybe I'll eat those words tomorrow, but that's not
No,
how I feel.
this is a low ABV. Again, it's 9%, so it's a day drinking wine. Yeah, usually a wine under $10 is like a hangover in a bottle, but I mean, I'm gonna put this whole thing back today. I'll let you know
Yeah.
next week how it
Yeah.
went.
Yeah. So what do you, I mean, all sorts of things to catch up on. It's been maybe like, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks since we
Yeah.
last talked. John has had a trip to Japan, but out of curiosity, if you're throwing back a bottle, what do you got going on later? You just hanging out? Like what's the motivation?
Charlie, I have no plans tonight.
Oh yeah, I respect it. I respect.
I'll be chefing up my own dinner. That's always exciting. Usually
Mm.
default to mac and cheese, which I
Bro, go with the fish. Go with the fish or salad, and kill the bottle. The what's Lindy up to? Just creeping around the local haunts of San
yeah,
Francisco, or
she's
what?
she's actually going to a wine bar, a loyal follower of Fully Corked. She's doing some due diligence for us, going and
Nice.
tasting some varietals. It's going to be good.
Yeah,
Maybe
hell
some good
yeah.
content for the pod.
Yeah, bring her on, our esteemed guest. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, as I mentioned before, so John and Lindy recently got back from their trip to Japan. And so, you know, a piece of this for us catch up. Hopefully it's interesting for other people, but I mean, I don't know many people who have been to Japan, so I'm curious, what are the thoughts? I mean, I remember when John was in Japan too, I was texting him. The first thing I was thinking from like the videos and like texts he was sending me is everybody there is dressing just unbelievably well. So maybe that's the best place to start. I mean, you tell me, like what was it like out there?
Yeah, if I had to describe Japan in one word, dapper.
Oh, dapper.
Yeah. Tokyo was incredibly different from any US city I'd ever been in, even though it reminded me of a lot of US cities. We kind of likened it to like a very clean, very efficient Chicago, a little bit of New York City mixed in there, and then actually a lot of Paris, which is kind of interesting.
Mm. Do they have like an Arc de Triomphe in there somewhere?
No, no, they don't. They have temples,
Yeah.
but no, but they had something, a shopping street that I would liken to like the Champs Elysees in Paris. So that was pretty cool. High level takeaways. Everybody is extremely fashionable, very sharp dressers. Like it did not matter where in the city we were or like what time of day it was. Like almost all of the men were like between business casual and business formal, which was very cool. The women were dressed in similar regard, very stylish. Like everybody was decked out with like whatever the current trends are. Everybody had like super well tailored clothing, pleated pants. It was crazy. And then you'd go off into some of the seedier districts and like everybody was like dressed up in all these crazy costumes, still looked like insane. It was
So
unbelievable.
two questions come to mind. Number one, business casual to business formal. What does that mean to you? Because in San Francisco, my assumption is everyone's wearing a sweater vest and a
Everybody dresses
button
like
down
shit
shirt.
in San Francisco.
So like, I mean, are we talking like suits all over the place? And then also the like most fashionable newest trend. I'm imagining a bunch of people walking around in like designer. I know like chunky Balenciagas are no longer in, but like I'm kind of just picturing a bunch of people wearing expensive shit that looks stupid. Is that
uh,
or did it look good, or was it cohesive?
the answer to all of those inquiries is yes. So starting off with the men and their fashion, yes. Like for the most part, men were dressed in like either all black or all blue suits. Everybody had like black loafers on. You didn't even have the casual brown loafers. Yeah, for those that were kind of venturing into the more fashionable side of things, chunky Balenciagas were still in over there.
Really? Right? Maybe
Yeah.
they're in. Maybe they're in. I don't know.
So it's interesting. There's a huge penalty in Japan for, I guess, like faking like handbags, clothing, things
Mm.
like that. And so and they are like very brand forward, like name brand clothing. I went to a few consignment stores to shop and like vintage stores, things like that. The selection of clothing and like I guess apparel, handbags, shit like that you can find was unbelievable, and it was also relative to the United States like dirt cheap.
I don't know. It worries me for all the people I've gifted fake Birkins to. I hope they never bring them to Japan because it's they're going to jail. Or I mean, what's the penalty? How did they? What do they like? Pull people over on the side of the street and go, "Let's take a look at that Birkin. Let's take a look at that
Bro,
D and G bag you
I
have."
think it's jail time.
Like, I mean, kind of a crazy policy. I guess I'm not sure where I
Wait,
stand
back
on
up.
it.
It's not jail to own a fake Birkin. It's jail time to sell a fake Birkin.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense to me.
Could you imagine the literal fashion police
It's
pulling you
bro,
over?
it's the drip police. They're going around and like just like checking your fit, making sure you're not like full of shit. And dude, imagine you're on a first date and you're rocking a bunch of fake shit and the drip police come and get you and throw you in jail. Japan's tough, bro. That just instantly marked I don't think I could live in Japan anymore. Not that I guess I ever did. That's the type of thing that makes you just want to smash the whole bottle and then break it over your own head. We got video again, I hope, unless it's already fucking me again, but okay. So where we
Let's see.
were
I
before
wonder where we
we got
left off.
interrupted. It was you were talking about geishas, which is traditional garb, no?
Oh yeah, geisha garb. It was very cool in Kyoto. Coolest thing we did in Kyoto was actually there's a monkey park in this place called Arashiyama, and we were able to effectively take a 30-minute hike, and then all of a sudden, like you're kind of up there in the clouds, and we start seeing snow monkeys pop out from like every which way, all the directions, and it when I was first looking this up, I thought it was gonna be like super gimmicky, like it's like like it's like a children's petting zoo, where it's like very controlled and everything. But no, like this was truly in the wild. There were just monkeys everywhere. It was like a clan of like 120 snow monkeys living together. And
What is the danger level of these snow monkeys?
I think out of 10, it's got to be like a two. You're not supposed to provoke them though. Like,
Like kick them or like what provokes them? Like
yeah,
feeding
kicking them would for
them? Like
sure provoke them. I think. I think feeding them from your hand is supposed to provoke them. And then I actually violated this rule, but it was before I knew. You're not supposed to squat next to the monkeys.
can you bench next to them? Can you curl? Are they just offended by the squat? That's their domain? Or like,
Yeah, I feel like push-ups might send them over
dude,
the edge too.
I would not, I wouldn't dare. In a clan of 120 snow monkeys, that's not time to blast off a set of 10. I don't think.
Um, Last thing I want to touch on is uh, for Valentine's Day, I
Hmm,
went to an omakase dinner,
nice.
and if you're not aware of omakase, it's basically just like a super fancy sushi dinner, and it's chef's choice. The thing about it is we both showed up full.
Uh,
We thought it was just gonna be like like sushi, and we had like McDonald's chicken McNuggets and like a small fry, probably an hour and a
Oh,
half before our dinner time. And we showed up, and the chef it to set the scene. It's an extremely intimate setting. There's no music. You're all at the sushi counter, and there's only 8 people there. And it's like
hmm.
a high end, like kind of like a very fancy night out. And it's like this chef, he was, I think, like trying to get Michelin recognized. Like it was that whole situation just to set the scene.
Yeah.
He starts bringing us large portions of like food I was not comfortable eating.
Oh.
Like the very first appetizer that was set out in front of us was yellow or like mini whitefish sashimi, meaning
Hmm.
and it was like a salad. And so it was like all these tiny little minnows effectively,
Mm.
just full fish. with some sort of seasoning on it, like like a citrus.
And so, what made you uncomfortable?
Well, they had eyes on them and gills and, and tails.
Yeah,
And
I
that
get
was,
that.
yeah, that's how we started it off. The next thing served was monkfish liver.
Oh God.
Monkfish liver is seen as a delicacy, though. Tasted like shit. Was like kind of like not the consistency I was hoping for. There were a lot of these things that, like, once I got it into my mouth, just did not sit well, you know. And so, long story short, I was getting full. I was like helping Lindy out with some of the dishes that she was not interested in eating. And like,
Yeah.
you know, she gets full, I get full. He's still putting out just like the most bizarre dishes in front of us. And finally, we're like, what the fuck do we do? Like, we can't offend this guy in this like tiny, tiny, intimate setting. So he runs back to like the back room to go pick something out. I grab 3 pieces of fish and I sprint to the bathroom and I literally unload them into the garbage can because
No,
like
dude.
it was one that I had tried where I was like, there's no chance in hell I'm gonna be able to keep Lindy's down if I eat it again. And then
Yeah.
the other one I was just like, this is a nuke like sent from hell. Like
Yeah.
this just cannot go in my body. And so was able to finally like dish him off into the garbage. And then after that, like luckily we had some reprieve. I think our dinner ended like 2 or 3 dishes after that, and we did eat some like fantastic tuna belly nigiri. Like some of the food was fantastic. It was
Once
the adventurous stuff that
once
killed me.
they cleaned up on the uncooked carp, catfish, and octopus brain, it all got a little bit better for you. Maybe it was like they were running a show where they put, because you're foreign and don't know what's going on, they put whatever the fuck they want in front of you and they just see how far they can push it until, which, like, I'm sure somebody who knows sushi or, anything about the world more than me, which is most people, that's probably just such a slap in the face. Like everything you said, I'm sure is like like as you say, like a delicacy. But I think I'd be in the same boat. Like I'm an adventurous eater, but at the same time, like if I'm getting hammered with adventure after adventure and I keep taking them, I keep getting burned on a monkfish liver, I'm gonna start to, I'm put up my walls a little bit, start craving that Big Mac again. Like I don't
Yeah.
know, it's tough.
No, that's exactly how it went. And the amount of anxiety that was paired with that meal as it continued on was just it was paramount. It was
That I mean, it is hilarious too. Like to be in a situation where it's not about enjoying the food at this point. It's about clearing the plates so we're not offending people. And that
yeah,
you had to run to the bathroom. I don't know if there was a better way to do it. I literally thought you were going to say I put it down my pants. And
that was next up. I mean,
yeah.
we were getting desperate, and they leave it on the plate because people get full here and they kind of like to course it out, and like so our plates were just starting to pile up. It was like Tetris. You know when you're playing Tetris and you're getting close to losing and like you start to get like super anxious cuz like everything keeps piling up. Like we basically took all of our Tetris blocks and threw them in the toilet.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's one way. That's one way to win. Uh
Yeah.
that's yeah, no, that sounds like a a very successful trip. I mean, yeah, tried a lot of new shit, which is good. Learned some of the culture. It's funny. One of the things I debate because my family, like my immediate family, so my brother, his wife, my mom and dad, every like 2 years essentially, we try to do plan and execute against a family trip, and this is
Mhm.
like always such a debate. One, because we all have different interests. Like on a vacation, I generally, it's not that I don't want to learn and I don't want to be cultured. It's that I prefer something where it's like you're going a beach heavy location. I mean, I know I'm a redhead, like I'm gonna get burnt, probably gonna have a bad time, and but I still haven't learned my lesson because that is like relaxing to me. You go, you have a couple
Yeah.
drinks by the beach, like you're hanging out, you're reading, you're listening to music. It's a good time. Then you go out and about at night. But oftentimes, like my dad is very, and this it's shameful that I push back against this. He wants to go to Ireland, which makes some sense for like my heritage. And I'm like,
It does.
and Ireland, everybody I've ever talked to who's been to Ireland, who's from Ireland, like speaks so highly of it. It's supposed to be awesome. But I've never seen somebody post a beach pic in Ireland. And so I'm saying like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if I can do castle tours for 3 days straight. Like, I don't know. So it's a point of tension. We still have not landed on a location. And the other kicker is Max always wants my brother Max always wants to do a ski or snowboard location. And I can't do that really. I mean I can, but with like doctor's note, not supposed to really ski after breaking the neck. But also I don't know how. So like so there's all kinds of issues. But I'm happy you guys were able to find something that fit the bill for you and it all went
Yeah.
well. Our post guy's great.
Yeah, our post production guy is so good. Sorry all. You may notice that we're in a little bit of different outfits. It is actually one day later. We had some heavy technical difficulties
Mm,
yesterday. Still figuring out the kinks on this podcast, but we'll make it. We'll battle. But we are back.
yeah.
Charlie, you had a big night last night. You want to share a little bit?
Yeah, so aided I don't know how do you say this wine? Espiral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so aided by the I don't know, more than half bottle I drank in like 40 minutes when we were doing this last night. Go to the bowling alley. I also did not eat any dinner, so I'm like I'm actually it's actually perfect because in bowling you kind of need to be like a little bit on the borderline of drunk to bowl well. So I come out of the gates, I get a
Well,
spare.
and do you want to be light on your feet too? Like, is it kind of like the anti, like you don't carbo load or anything before bowling?
Yeah, no, I think not eating any food helped me too, but you'll see that it ended up biting me in my ass because I come out of the gates spare and 3 strikes, first 4 frames. So I get a
Oh
turkey,
wow.
like, right off the rip, and then, I was, like, at 100 something through 5 frames, and then it all started to fall apart. I mean, I finished the game at like I think it was a 162, which is like really good for me. And but then I pretty much I think the lack of food, and at that point I had ordered like a gin and tonic and we had like pitchers and stuff. So I'm mixing liquors. I've had no food and like my focus and my game and my I was light on my feet, but then I started getting hungry out there on the lanes and I'm
Yeah,
thinking
you can't be bowling hungry.
no, and I was bitching about the slicks on the lanes. That's how you know you're in a bad place when you have to start blaming things that are it's not the slicks' fault. I'm bowling like shit because I'm bowling like shit.
I
And
didn't know there was possibly anything you could complain about
oh
for
yeah.
bowling.
I threw every excuse in the book. I was blaming the slicks. I said the hardwood wasn't level. There was a lot of excuses I was coming to the
The
table with.
hardwood wasn't level. You were
Yeah.
bowling an objectively good game too. 160 is nothing to scoff at.
Dude, and like oh, it was a lot of fun though because a lot of people were bowling really well. Our high score in the 2 games that we played, one of my buddies, also his birthday, he rolled a 182 or something like that, like something really,
Jeez.
really good.
Was he on an empty stomach as well, or had he remembered
I
to
think
eat
he had some like a good amount of red meat before he showed up.
red
Red
meat?
meat, yeah,
Oh.
which is like good. It's good fuel. I don't know that to be true, but he's often eating red meat, so that could help.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Yeah, I've heard red meat before a bowling match can more 300s have been rolled after a steak dinner
yeah,
than any
then
other dinner
you don't.
out there.
You're not getting a whitefish platter and then rolling a 300. You need a little red meat. You need a little juice in the bicep.
I think that was your issue because the Espiral pairs well with white fish,
I
and so you couldn't possibly even dream of having red
No,
meat before that
no,
bowling
no,
match.
it was yeah, it ended up I think the second game I got like a 110 or something, but it was like a very,
Oh,
like,
oh dear.
icky 110. It's like I closed like 2 frames and I lost focus. It was not going good. And then we started the third game before we had to go, and I was like, this is going it's just only going down. So we leave there, do some bar hopping, apartment hopping. It was like like four of my friends' birthdays were this week, and so it's like everybody's birthday. So everybody's out and about. It's a ton of fun. Um, and then I had to pay the piper this morning because so out until like whatever, like just past 2, and I I had to run this. I had to go for the long run this morning, and
Yeah, Charlie, maybe give a little bit more detail as to why you're going on a long run after being
yeah,
viciously hungover in the morning.
yeah. So I'm training. I'm an aspiring marathon runner. I have no background in running. I signed up for Grandma's Marathon when I was at the Chicago Marathon. With enemy of the podcast, Danny DeMarco. He's in my ear. He's run multiple marathons. He's done triathlon shit, and he's saying to me, we can totally do this. We can get this attention that they have. And boy, let me tell you, is it sweet? And I'm like, I'm just frothing at the mouth and I'm drunk. And I'm like, this seems not that bad. Like they only run for like 4.5 hours straight. Like I can do that.
And he wants to run for the attention.
Well,
Like
no,
he
I
wants
do
to
too.
sound
I do
you do
too,
too.
dude. I was very happy. I was excited for the runners, and I was like, the only way that this could be more fun is if people were lopping this praise onto me.
Hmm.
And so that was like a big piece of the motivation. And so I get on my phone and I sign up for Grandma's. I put the money down, and DeMarco like immediately stabs me in the back, and it's kind of like, it's just kind of like a big commitment.
He suckered you.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like the start of it. And as I say, I've had no running experience. I've never probably ran more than like 3 miles before I signed up for this. And so today, this morning, the day after this late night birthday celebration was like the first long run in the training program. So that's 6 miles. And was not looking forward to it this morning. I knew, bro. Also, slept on my couch. Number one, and number two, I went back to a very bad college habit last night. Uh,
Uh-oh.
I,
What
I brought
happened?
I brought the granola out to the couch, and I think you know what happened.
No.
I spilled a little
Oh, no. So
granola.
I'll just explain what happened. So back in college, Charlie used to come home from a night out, and some people enjoy pizza, some people enjoy Taco Bell as a drunk night snack. Charlie had like crumpled granola in a bag, and
Yeah,
he would bring it in his bed and
spill it all over the place.
spill it everywhere. And then he'd wake up every morning and just be screaming like, fuck.
Dude, so there's so many things about this. It's like it doesn't make sense. Like in college, it wasn't like this last night, but in college, when I do this, the thing that really didn't make sense is it was almost I'd wake up the next day and it would be like, did I open and flap this bag all over my bed and then lay in it? Because the granola, it's not like there was like a little pile of granola on my chest when I woke up. Like there's granola all over the sheets, like all over the floor. I'm sleeping on top of granola. It's like sleeping on a pile of Legos. And like it's just horrible, and it's hard to get out of your sheets. Like we didn't have like a vacuum or something to get it out of like the floor, and so it was just a disaster. And I couldn't stop doing it.
Imagine, and we had carpeted floors. Imagine trying to pick granola up off a floor without a vacuum.
It's I'll tell you how you do it. You bend over and you grab it one grain at a time, and you hate yourself. It's not good. Um,
I'm
and
just picturing the handfuls that just were going straight onto your chest.
dude, and so like that happened a number of times. I've also done this with popcorn, equally as bad because then you got the grease factor going on. It's just a mess.
Oh
And
my
then you
god.
got laundry. You got a lot of laundry to do. It's not a good situation. And
You might need child locks in your new apartment.
yeah, on the granola drawer,
Yeah.
don't do it. Uh, but okay, so all of that is true and all of that is bad. But I will say to people, consider granola when you're thinking about your drunk snack because it hits. I
Mm.
do it for a reason. It's because this granola is amazing. And so kind granola, I love. I love all the granola. I've tried every brand. No free. I mean, all granola is good. No brand
But we do love
specifically.
kind granola.
Yeah. The so Anyway, yeah, so that happens. I wake up, I got some granola on me. I am hungover as hell. And I have another buddy who routinely, like on Saturdays and Sundays, we have a group chat called You Boys Hung, and he just sends in every Saturday, Sunday, You Boys Hung, and it's inspired me. I don't want to cave and let the hangover beat me because he gets a sick satisfaction when me and Adam are hungover. So I cannot allow it. And so I'm getting the text. I already know what's coming. I was out with him. He knows I'm hung. And I told him that I'm running 6 miles. And he wasn't like, no, you're not. But I was like, I said it. So I had to do it. And I'm like supposed to do it for the training. So we go out there. Um, and I had like this sauna cold plunge thing I had to do. So I'm racing against the clock. I'm racing against my hungover body, like force of will action. It really wasn't that bad though. I was going like slower than I had in other runs just to make sure I could make it the 6 miles. And it was pretty good. Like it was like just under 9 minute pace, which is like not not bad for me.
Oh, that's nice.
And
That's good
it's
for
no
me.
Andy Fick. For the listeners, John has a younger brother who's just I don't know. He's got all sorts of different fitness initiatives. He's run at least one marathon, but he just hyper focuses. If it's lifting, if it's running, he just turns into a beast at whatever it is. And so he's also an excellent runner, but it might not live up to his standards, the 9 minute pace. But it felt damn good to do it, dude. And it like totally like I bullied my hangover today. My hangover hates me today. Like go for this.
Charlie, 1 second. So, what have you eaten between leaving for bowling and your 6 mile run? Has it been just granola at 2
Yeah,
a.m.?
yeah. So I had a cutie clementine, whatever. I had an like an orange at about like 3 a.m. and then I had like a little bit of granola. Uh, and then woke up. I mean, I drank a lot of water too, but not
Oh,
much in the way of food. And so I woke up and go and do this. Felt pretty good. And then after that, so I'm just getting back from like this sauna cold plunge place in Minneapolis. And that place is awesome too. It's another just huge fuck you to my hangover. Like as I say, like my hangover is trembling. It didn't know I could be this powerful.
dude, how good do you feel coming out of a cold plunge?
Oh, I feel good. I feel really, really good. And the other thing that I did that I never do, so I showed up like 15 minutes late because I started the run later than I should have, and it took longer than I thought I was going to. And so I get there, and the people I was meeting there are already in the cold plunge. So generally, it's like you sauna, then you cold plunge, and kind of go back and forth a few times. And but they're all in the cold plunge, and so I started it off with the cold plunge, just straight into the cold plunge, no sauna,
Oh,
just full gorilla energy today. Just again, this hangover, it hates me because
yeah.
I'm punishing it for even thinking it could get me. I'm punishing it.
It's not even gonna try to kick back anymore.
No, it is beat the hell down, dude. It is whimpering in a corner. It's destroyed. It's been beaten. And so
For all of you 28-year-olds out there, you heard it here first. This is how you do
it
it.
can be done. It can be done. You just gotta eat a little granola at about 3 a.m. and you're gonna be just fine.
Have your clementine.
You have your pre-run fuel at 3 a.m. You pass out in a pile of granola and you're gonna make it. So that was all. That brings me to this moment. But it was ton of fun last night, and the you know it's encouraging too that like I certainly had some self-doubt in this run. I've never run 6 miles, and, like, I was also just totally, like, backfooting myself with my preparation, as I just said. So, like, it felt good to get it done. That's for sure.
Love it, Charlie. All right, what do you think? Should we move on to our new segment we are calling Overrated or Underrated?
Mhm.
All right.
Yep. I'm into it. I'm into it. Let's do it.
All right. So, for those listening, we are going to do a segment today called Overrated or Underrated. And this is just where we list any item out there that I think could be topic of discussion.
Mhm.
The first one being avocados. And I will start. I think this is one of the most overrated foods
Oh,
of all time.
Oh
I
my god.
people love avocados. I did hear that they're good for your brain health, but I, personally, I think these are completely overused. I think every time you get it on a salad or a sandwich, they put a disgusting amount of avocados on. Like you have like one piece of meat and then you get like a full avocado. It is honestly like maybe it's the mouthfeel, the texture. I don't know. I think avocados are one of the most overrated foods out there right now.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that. I don't I mean, so avocados had a huge boom. Like when our parents were growing up, people weren't just eating avocado toast and having avocado on all their sandwiches. So at some point in like probably I'm not an avocado historian, but I would imagine around the 1980s, it
Sounds right.
took off. It took off. And I'm happy it did because I like avocados. I don't think it's overrated, but it's certainly not underrated. Like it's held in high esteem. It's in every brunch item like could have avocados in it. And I love brunch unless I'm going like a granola route. But the but yeah, no, I think they're appropriately rated at the kind of like a pinnacle fruit vegetable level. It is absolutely excellent. I'm always happy to see it. You can't put enough of it in front of me. I totally disagree about it. I mean, like if I want more meat on the sandwich, then it's disappointing, but I'm not pointing and looking at the avocado and saying this is your fault. I'm more looking at like the sandwich creator and saying, "Really, you're going to give me one slice of deli turkey?"
All
Like,
right, hear me out though. How about this one? You go to I don't know, any one of your like chain salad shops.
yeah.
You order some sort of Caesar salad or a Cobb salad, and then you can get avocado on top, and they just load like a full avocado on there, and it's all mushy, and then it gets like mixed in with all of your other lettuce and fruit in there that like absolutely should not mesh with like this fat, and like it's all gross and it feels gross in your mouth. Like
I
do you
mean,
not feel that way? Are you just eating it and you're like, "Wow, this is great." Like,
oh yeah, bro. I'd cut up I will continue to do this. Cut an avocado open, put it in halves, hit it with a little olive oil, a little salt, just eat a straight avocado. I will do that. I'm into it. I'm into it on everything. But avocados have hurt me too. At one point another late night snack attempt was trying to make avocado toast and I was cutting it if my mic is a knife, I have it in my hand and I'm trying to get the seed out by like going through it and it blasts through the seed. It was like a shit seed. The seed was not like strong enough. So it blasts through it. I slice open like this part of my hand and I'm like I have like one band-aid in my apartment. And I'm like
oh my
I
god.
didn't think it was that bad. And then like so I'm like running some water over it and obviously like when you put you're cut underwater, you're like, holy shit, I am bleeding a
Yeah.
ton, even though you might not be. But it was just a terrible spot. It took forever to heal. I've forgiven avocados. I've forgiven myself. I won't let it happen again. I'm doing cutting them in more responsible ways. But I think avocado appropriately rated, not over or under. It's a great fruit. It is a fruit? It's a fruit, right?
I think it's is it a nut? I don't know.
I don't think it's a nut. Uh, it's got like the big seed.
Yeah, let's call it a fruit.
There's
I don't
it.
think it's a vegetable.
It is the source of some tension though, because it reminds me of a story back when you were living in Chicago. Another friend of ours, Thomas, would be putting his avocado seeds down the disposal of their sink and like fucking up their sink. And they were like, "Why does this keep happening? Like, what's going on?" And like Stone the whole time has just been like dumping avocado seeds down their disposal, which
It's a real
I
quick
mean,
way
it's
to destroy a garbage disposal.
yeah, like I mean, for me, that's another pro on the avocados. If Thomas Stone can use it to create chaos, I like it.
I do
So,
like how powerful their seeds are. All
yeah.
right, next one.
Yep, next
Charlie, I'll
one.
let you go first on this one.
Yeah.
Stanley mugs. Those big like
Absolutely overrated. I think everybody knows
yeah,
what a Stanley mug
fuck
is.
those
It
things.
is garbage. I saw their earnings statement, the most recent one that they published, and I was baffled. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why do people? And isn't there like something where there's like lead or like some metal that should not be in a drinking mug cup
No
thing?
way. Stanley
Yeah,
mugs are using lead.
they're
That's
either
like
that or like something really bad. Like they might just be like coating their mugs in poison.
it's
Like
probably
I
like
do.
some sort of like addictive resin or something that just like
Yeah,
keeps people coming back to the well
and
on those.
it numbs your brain because the people I talk to who are Stanley Pro, and I've had this conversation with people because I am a huge Hydro Flask gang, and I recently lost mine. I need to buy another one. There's at no point did I consider maybe I'll switch to Stanley. Absolutely not. It's gonna be a Hydro Flask again. I love Hydro Flasks. But the Stanley thing. So this was the argument I heard for the Stanley Cup is this person, my friend, did a side claims to have done a side by side test where you fill up a hydro flask and a Stanley with ice, and he says the the Stanley kept the ice for longer. And I'm like, that's bullshit because the Stanley has um like kind of like takeoff cap versus hydro screws in. It's like there's
Yeah.
no way that I mean, I don't know, but essentially, I'm all the way out. Their earnings statement pissed me off. I don't get it. People are like stealing these from wherever. Like there was some big like bust in California. Somebody stole like I think like $10,000 worth of Stanleys and was just like holding them in their car. I don't know what the hell happened. I didn't follow the story close enough, I guess. But it's to me, it is absolutely overrated. It's like a corporate gift. That's the only time I would
Yeah.
accept somebody saying, "Here's why I have a Stanley. Here's why I use a Stanley." Is if you're, in a place in your life where you didn't previously own a water bottle and you were gifted it. That is the only time I'm in
And
on a
even then,
Stanley
I
usage.
just don't know if I'd even want to be seen with a Stanley mug, just
No.
because I know I would be associated with like owning a Stanley mug at that point.
Yeah, which you can't really have. This is an easy one. It's
Yeah.
grossly overrated.
All right, moving on. Next one, pickleball.
Pickleball, interesting one.
It's sweeping the nation. It's obviously like one of the hottest sports right now. Both Charlie and I played tennis growing up. I did
I played it.
pickleball at one point. I mean, we know pickleball.
Yeah, and
What do you think?
I started playing pickleball when I was like 5 years old. So like back in 2000 because my parents' cabin up in Two Harbors, that one of the parks there actually had a pickleball court like before it was widely adopted. So I'm gonna go the hipster route here and say, it was cool before everybody. Well, actually, I don't know if I can go that route because I like the interest in pickleball. What I don't
Mhm.
like is, for example, like the downtown Lifetime in Minneapolis took out one of their basketball courts, inserted 4 pickleball courts in its place, which on its face is like, okay, cool, now we can play pickleball, but then they made it a premium thing where you need to like pay $20 to reserve court time. So nobody's using these pickleball courts. There's no longer a basketball court there. The one basketball court that remains there is totally like packed at all times. So pickleball, I love it. I love the game. It's like kind of like poor man's tennis. It's the thing that is really good about pickleball to me is anyone can be good at it. It's like
Yes.
a in that way, it can be social, it can be fun, you can do it with anybody. Nobody's picking up a tennis racket and being like competitive, you know what I mean? So
You
like,
have to, even if you are good at tennis, you have to find somebody that pairs well with you. Otherwise, it's just going to be a difficult hitting situation.
mhm,
Pickleball is great because you can play it when you get much older. Jury's out if it's actually a workout. I mean, you literally are in like this tiny box, and like
yeah.
people claim it's a workout. I don't know. I
I
I think
mean,
yeah, I think on its face, hitting a tennis ball is still much more
oh yeah,
satisfying than like cracking a pickleball. But I think it's good for the overall racket sports. I think the last thing I'll say on this point is court times and paying for courts is just ridiculous, period. Like a $20, 25, $30 court time to just go hit a tennis ball is egregious,
it
and
sucks.
it's making an extremely accessible sport inaccessible.
Yeah. And I guess one other thing there, here's one thing I like about pickleball, and I think my brother said this to me like long ago when we were playing on this court up in Two Harbors, is when you're at the net and pickleball and you're like going volley to volley with somebody, he was like, that's the closest you can get in real life to a lightsaber battle. And I've never forgot that. And it's like, I don't know if it's true, but I always was just like, that's I like it. It's badass. But I do like the net play is fun. I don't really like the kitchen stuff. I think that's kind of like
Yeah,
I don't know. There's they work on the rule set
that's a
pickleball, and
little
then we'll
hokey,
talk.
but
We'll talk.
thinking
Yeah, it's a
about
little
the fact that your brother put that out into the world, that a pickleball duel is like a lightsaber duel, I'm in.
yeah,
And now I
yeah.
wanna go play.
I'm in. Dude, I want to play some pickleball right now too.
Alright,
Legs are still feeling fresh.
let's go.
Yeah, I'll catch
I'm
the red eye
in.
out there.
Alright, Charlie, that's been great. This is probably where we're gonna wrap episode 2. Any closing remarks?
Um. Yes, as John said, we'll wrap it up here, and hopefully get something going again soon. Thanks everybody for listening. Go to your local Trader Joe's, get some Espiral. I don't know how to say it, dude. I was trying to think, where is this from again? Portugal, dude. I was sitting in the bowling alley, and I was telling somebody about the white wine because they were like, "What the hell? Like, you just got a turkey off the rip?" And I was like, "Dude, it's this white wine." And I was like, "It's from some European country that starts only comes from this European country that starts with a P." And like we were sitting there, literally nobody could think of Portugal. Like somebody said Peru, and I was like, "No."
No.
But like literally like could not think of Portugal. But yeah, the wine was also very good. I mean, it got almost got me all the way there. I think my
Yeah,
best game ever. It's like a 180, mid 180s, something like that. And I could have done it if I drank the whole bottle, I could have gotten it. But I
either that or a nice steak dinner, but either way, we're
yeah
we're gonna get you there, Charlie.
yeah. I'll do some more bowling. I'll do some more drinking of wine.
Alright.
So all right.
Thanks all for watching, for listening, whatever you're doing. Like, comment, subscribe, come support us. Put some shit in the comment section. Let us know how you feel about this episode. Thanks again.
Yep. Thanks everybody.